Welcome back to the Unacceptable News. I'm your host, Justin Bush. I'm not feeling so great. I don't know why, I'm not feeling so great today. So, this case is about the Amari Rivera abduction case of 1988. Amari Rivera was a Puerto Rican citizen, I believe, American citizen. He lived in New York, and he went to go live in Puerto Rico with some of his family. Now, this case really kind of made a big splash at the time that he came forward because there was some evidence that he brought forth as well as some other eyewitness testimony. It gave a lot of validity to his testimony. So essentially, this man says that he was working at a nightclub. On his ride home, he was driving back to his family's home. He ran into two creatures that he described as the atypical gray aliens. Now, after running into them with his car, he blacked out for a period of time. When he came to, he was in a completely separate location, surrounded by other people. They were in what he described as something like an auditorium. Amari Rivera said this man that came in looked very similar to a human, but was slightly different. He then says that this man talked to this large group of people that he believed all were from Puerto Rico and essentially showed them a version of future events. We hear this from thousands of people. I myself have experienced this in my own personal life. This is what I call the movie or the video where they're showing you supposedly a bunch of future events. So Amari Rivera claims that first, they showed him a travel through the solar system to another planet, so across space, and showed where the people live, what their houses look like, and then proceeded to show him a meteorite hitting the Earth. He said that it will completely cause a massive amount of change to the entire planet. This meteor will hit apparently near South America, somewhere between North and South America. He said that it will cause widespread change, and eventually the entire world will have a one world government that is a floating city that essentially is floating around one world government. Now, the Amari Rivera case then goes on that he, I guess, blacked out again, and when he came to, he was standing I guess near his car. He had a camera that was loaned to him by one of his cousins, and there was several fighter jets that were attempting to intercept a UFO. He took several pictures of this, and he went back home. Now, he was confused about where he was. He was not in the location he thought he was. He had to stop and ask for directions. He eventually found himself back at his family home, and he slept, and he had severe PTSD from his encounter. His family took care of him the best they could. Eventually, some people claiming to be with the CIA showed up and searched his home. They told him directly to give him the photographs that were taken. He has no idea how they knew photographs were taken. He told them no, that he didn't have any. They searched, they didn't find them, and they left. Now, he secretly sent those photographs to another cousin of his that was apparently in the Marine Corps, and those photographs were later on released. Now, when Amari came forward with his story and his photographs, other people reached out to him from the local area, and he was able to find 7 other people that were with him on this craft that were also witnesses to this event. We'll show you some clips of his testimony now.
Hello, my name is Amari Rivera. I live in Puerto Rico, and back in 1988, I was working in a nightclub, and there was a musical group there. One of my cousins wanted me to photograph the musical group, and she loaned me a camera with some film. On my way back home, I encountered 2 small beings, 2 small strange men, which I didn't think were men from outer space, and they took me somewhere where there were other people besides myself, other human people, like from Puerto Rico, I guess. From here, another human being showed up. He claimed to be from a distant planet. He was dressed in black. He had a dark skin. He had a long black hair up to the shoulders, and he spoke to us with the mouth, verbally, and no telepathic speaking. He showed us various projections, which looked very real projections, and he informed us about a whole bunch of things that are even still incredible to me. Then they returned me to...
What did this holographic projection show?
The holographs were mainly, the first one that I can remember was like a short trip through space. We saw where he came from, where he's said to be from. We saw his people, we saw the houses that they use. And the second one was about a meteor or a rock falling to Earth in the near future, which is going to cause a lot of havoc in the world. This would fall, it's going to fall in very near the Caribbean, Puerto Rico, and those other small islands, but it's going to affect the whole world, not just Puerto Rico. The last one is that they projected was showing us how there was only going to be one government on the planet Earth. They'll be living on some sort of artificial island that's going to be floating in the middle of a dark, black, dirty sea. And then this man returned me to my car again and left me somewhere different from where the whole ordeal had started. Apparently, they took me with car and all. After this, at this given time, I heard some jets in the sky, and I still had my cousin's camera, and I took the pictures, 4 of which I'm making public nowadays.
So the jets followed the UFO?
Yes, it was. They seemed to be surveilling it. I only got to capture just one of the jets in the photograph, but there were 3 of them. Or maybe I got in one of the photos one, and in the second or third I got one of the other ones, because they would go around it very far away, and while this one was closer, and turn, very far, very far. And by the time this one was coming back, another one was turning over there. There was always one or the other close to the object, to the UFO.
Other witnesses contacted Amari himself.
So far, between 1988 and 1992, I've been able to localize 7 of these people. Because I've gone on different TV shows and different articles, and I've always been asking if anybody remembers anything similar happening to them, and that year, during that time, Mother's Day, to please get in touch with me. And I have gotten in touch with hundreds of people, but out of the hundreds, 7 definitely were there with me. I still have 7 to go. Maybe I'll never find them. Maybe they'll see this.
Actually, Amari Rivera was intimidated and pressured by government agents to hand over his pictures.
Well, a short time after the incident, 3 men showed up at my home in Puerto Rico, and one of them stood in their car downstairs, and they claimed to be from CIA, and they handed me 2 pieces of paper, which I was so nervous I couldn't really read, but I remember seeing the letter CIA, which is the intelligence agency from the United States, and they said that it would be easier and better for me if I handed them the photographs and the negatives. But they did not say, what photographs or what negatives. They didn't specify. And I just told them that I did not know what they were talking about. And they said it would be easier because we have an order to register your house, to look through your house. And I said, well, go ahead, be my guest and look. And they looked, but they couldn't find them, because I had hid them very well.
Well, first of all, I want to say good evening to everyone. And I'm really nervous, so please bear with me. I've never spoken in front of, a group of people.
So this man is claiming, a calamity, a future calamity. And this is something we've heard so many times in the UFO community. His photographic evidence of this interception by these fighter jets of this unknown object really does solidify that at least a portion of his story must be true. He saw this anomalous object and these fighter jets chasing after it, circling it, and was able to capture it on film. And so now you have to ask the big question, which is, did everything else that happened to Amari happen? If he really did capture these photographs and his testimony is true, should we be taking heed from what he has warned about this possible meteorite impact in the future? If you'd like to support our channel, go to the description or in the pinned comment down below. That's the Unacceptable News. Don't like, don't subscribe, just run.